And my goodness, Angel Reese fans are furious. Now, he's got a clip out there on with Jeff Teague on a podcast. I can't even play.
A comedian's remark has caused new controversy in the WNBA. Angel Reese and Brittany Gurrier jumped to Caitlin Clark's defense after Charleston White made comments against her. However, what truly caught everyone's attention was what happened next. The consequences revealed a far more serious issue that was developing in women's basketball.
Well, we're going to talk about this Charleston White Club 520 podcast situation involving NBA player Jeff Teague, and of course they're all sitting around BSing. Charleston White is a comedian, and he's very damn funny, but he is also not afraid, like any good comedian, to roast or
After comedian Charleston White's most recent podcast segment went viral, the WNBA community is in disarray. It's also not your typical sports dispute this time. White did more than simply compliment Caitlin Clark during his appearance on the Club 520 podcast. He started a dispute that is revealing increasing tensions in women's basketball.
They're not worried about anybody's feelings. They literally go out there and crush. And that's what Charleston White did in this clip that went mega viral. I saw somebody asking, why would you have this guy on this podcast? Because it got 3 million views?
Let's examine what actually transpired within that podcast. Due to the significance of the circumstance, Charleston White, who is well known for his unvarnished humor, began by discussing Caitlin Clark's impact on women's basketball. He emphasized how she is bringing millions of new fans to the game. But when he started contrasting her with other WNBA stars, things changed. Clark was no longer the only focus of the show, which has already received over 3 million views. White's comments regarding Brittany Gurrier touched a sore nerve, particularly when he made light of her stay in Russia. Many others believed that the comments went too far.
Man, we need an OnlyFans WNBA. Then I tune in, but I ain't finna watch them long leg women run up and down the court with them knees. Yeah, man, with them knees, them high knees, them ain't low knees.
Shorty from the B.
She played the W with the long knees. The
long ass arm, she'd be a good defender.
Yeah, man, you know what kind of money? And I heard they don't make a lot of money over there either.
It's coming, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna get better.
And that's I think
give
that's
him a chance, Chuck. Give him a chance.
That's the dope thing about Caitlin too, because regardless of the scrutiny they put on her name, every time she's came out and spoken publicly, she said, "Hey, I'm good, but we need to push the league." And like you said, she did a lot of vocal stuff that helped a lot of black women in the process, man.
She did? Oh yeah.
She pushed the narrative to help a lot of people get paid, despite a lot of.
I thought Brittany Griner did that. I thought Brittany Griner did that.
He's a motherfucker.
Coming out the
real BG.
The real BG.
Coming out the Russian prison.
Yeah. Did you see that motherfucker with her shirt off?
His admirers, meanwhile, assert that this is just what comedians do. They push boundaries and openly criticize everyone.
Now, it went viral because of Angel Reese, and, you know, she's reposted some old April post about protect women's sports. A lot of people are speculating, does that have to do with this interview? Who knows? Maybe she's actually taking a stand against dudes in women's sports. I'd commend her if she's doing that. Hats off to you, Angel Reese. But some people think she's playing the victim because of a comedian.
When Sydney Colson, a guard with Las Vegas Aces, intervened, the incident worsened. She didn't simply yell "White." She attacked the entire show for providing a forum for what she called sexist and dumb speech.
And this was her response to said podcast. And look, Charleston White absolutely crushed.
Her message quickly gained popularity and received prompt support from both fans and WNBA players.
Point guard is all been out of shape, and unfortunately for her, this didn't go well because some people called her out while she's trying to play all high and mighty over this podcast for some previous Twitter post that she put out about
At this point, things took an unexpected turn. When social media users started looking, they discovered something that Colson most likely thought would remain hidden. A January 2023 tweet in which she used humor that was strikingly similar to the jokes she was now criticizing to compare a female athlete to a male actor. The tone of the conversation completely changed when that old tweet reappeared because the internet never forgets. People swiftly pointed out the double standard when screenshots of her previous comment began to circulate alongside her latest critique. When you've made jokes that are similar to someone else's, how can you criticize them? This revelation shifted the discussion away from White's comments and towards a more comprehensive discussion of sincerity and consistency when addressing these matters. The Angel's Reese reaction gave the matter still another twist. She decided to repost an earlier statement on protecting women's sports rather than directly addressing White's comments, and the timing wasn't overlooked. The situation only grew more intense as her followers swiftly mobilized, with some even demanding legal action against the comic. One of the podcast hosts, Jeff Teague, made an effort to defuse the situation. Ree is like a young sister to them, he said in a statement highlighting their good relationship. However, neither the viral spread of White's remarks nor the contentious debates that ensued were slowed by his attempt at damage control. The responses of WNBA players have been particularly instructive. A few have remained silent in public despite liking posts that criticized White. Some have taken a more candid stance. The conflicting reactions show how difficult it becomes when comedy and professional sports intersect. This is not the first time that women's basketball has found itself in a similar predicament. Shaquille O'Neal received similar criticism a few months prior for comments he made regarding players' attire. As the lead receives more widespread notice, a pattern is beginning to show. Additionally, more popular voices, including comedians, are joining the discussion as a result of this circumstance. Charleston White supporters contend that his jokes genuinely demonstrate how women's basketball is finally being given careful consideration. Their argument is that comedians make fun of everything that is culturally important, and NBA players are frequently made fun of without it becoming a major scandal. Additionally, the timing of all of this is crucial. The WNBA is receiving more media attention than ever before thanks to Caitlin Clark's arrival. Social media has only made the mayhem worse, and players and authorities are still figuring out how to deal with this increased degree of public scrutiny. What started off as a few comments on a podcast swiftly grew into a more extensive discussion on comedy, respect, and the culture surrounding sports. Each tweet, response, and previously published post adds a new dimension to the narrative. The difference in responses across generations is especially startling. While older basketball fans frequently support White's ability to joke, especially if they torch Reese with brutal breakdown disagrees with his particular remarks. The subject has been handled gingerly by traditional sports media, which aims to cover the controversy without exaggerating possibly offending material. The discussion concerning how women's sports are covered has expanded to include this very caution. White hasn't given up. In fact, the uproar has given him additional fodder. In later appearances, he keeps repeating the same jokes, arguing that comedy shouldn't have any restrictions and that athletes play a fair game. The hosts of the podcast are currently in an unforeseen and challenging situation. There is more to this dispute than the response of a single comedian or player. It draws attention to women's basketball's growing pains as it becomes more popular. Players, supporters, and the media are figuring out how to deal with the sport's increased attention, criticism, and humor. The result may have an impact on the league's future, comedians' attitudes towards the WNBA, and a model for handling similar disputes. Watch this space as the narrative develops.